Yeah.
We're actually live.
A couple of seconds before we go in and just talk live about San Marcos Mexican restaurants. This is Juan with the Cine-Men Movie Podcast, letting you know that this episode is proudly sponsored by San Marcos Mexican restaurants, located right here in Oklahoma City at 2301 Southwest 59th Street in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Let them know that the Cine-Men Movie Podcast sent you and get 10% off your order. You can also call in and dine to go, 405-685-7773. Because who wants to eat at the restaurant? You can take it home, go watch the movies, San Marcos, and chill, right? But go ahead, let them know that we sent you, and not only will you find and get some of the best Mexican food in the metro, but if you dine in, you also get some of the best customer service. Great food and even better customer service. It's the only dine-in restaurant of the Cine-Men Movie Podcast.
A piece of me?
Do I feel lucky? Well, do you, punk?
Good morning, Vietnam! I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
I feel the need for speed.
I wish I knew how to quit you.
Love means never having to say you're sorry.
You do? You'll shoot your eye out, kid.
What up, movie fans? Happy Monday, moviegoers. Welcome to episode 337. Welcome to Captain America Brave New World. You're listening to a brand new episode of the Cine-Men Movie Podcast. I am one of your hosts, Juan, and I am joined by the cast, the crew, the fellas. Zach, what up?
Hey, what's going on? Are we not the Avengers or just the Cine-Men minute crew?
We're the Cine-Men Minute Crew.
Minute Crew.
Man, I don't know what that is. You might come onto something new there. But Jay, what about you? How you doing?
I'm doing quite well today. Had a good day. Had a good last couple days actually. It's been pretty cool.
It's been a good week. It's been a long week, it feels like, but we're on the cusp of yet another fabulous Monday. We're here to talk movies again with you guys. There looks like there might already be some technical malfunctions with young Zachary Binks there, but we will get back to Zach. Jay, it was a fun week, man. Fun week in the movie business. We're a few weeks away from the Oscars. Actually, I think we're a week away from the Oscars. So,
yeah, you went through a big watch list. Academy Award nominees. I've seen a couple. I haven't really went out of my way to check out anything.
And I'm not done yet, man. It's just getting started. Zach, am I right? Are we just a week away from the Oscars?
Yeah, this Sunday will be the new Oscars, and the new Best Picture winner will be crowned. So we will see who that is.
I think I've seen The Substance. I think that's the only Best Picture I've seen this year is The Substance.
Zach, shoot him off real quick. Do you have him in front of you?
Yeah, the Best Picture nominees are going to be The Brutalist, Nora, Wicked, Dune Part 2, Conclave, The Substance, Nickel Boys, and I think that's it. Oh, and Emily Perez. I think that's all the big nominations. I could be missing one.
Amelia Perez is on Netflix if anybody's interested out there watching.
Oh, a Complete Unknown, the Bob Dylan movie, and I'm Still Here. And those are your Best Picture nominees for this year.
Are you still here, Zach?
I'm everywhere. I don't know about you guys.
So yeah, next week is going to be a fun episode. There's going to be a lot to uncover. It's going to be a first time ever for us here at the podcast. So it's going to be an interesting conversation. Of course, we're going to go through and talk about maybe some of the big winners from the night before, but next Monday, we're just going to talk the why, who, what, when, where, and does it even need to exist anymore? So next week should be fun. I don't know about you.
Get the proper winner. based on what we've seen so far.
You know what? That's true too. Proper Winners is going to be a fantastic conversation piece. I don't know about you guys, but I think it's going to be pretty fun.
We touched upon this the other day when we were all on a. When we went to see Captain America, this is the first time the three of us had actually been to a movie together. So we discussed quite a few things on the way to the theater.
There is, but before we get into it, let's talk maybe some recent watches. Jay, do you want to start first?
I've been on my YouTube binge again. I've just went around and I have my favorite channels that I like to watch that they put out like 4 and 5 hour documentaries about different subjects on filmmaking and stuff like that. I'll watch a documentary about Jason. I think it was a Halloween series where they just talked about the entire making of the series for like 6 hours. So I got down with that. I'm still on my Jurassic World watch. I still haven't started the Saws yet, but those are on the to watch pile. I've just been traveling down the YouTube road a little bit. So other than that, I have nothing to really recommend unless you like my weird YouTube channels.
You recommend Dominion?
I haven't. Like I said, I've seen it before, but I'm curious to rewatch it again in the extended cut, just because I'm a sucker for bad Jurassic World movies. I seen Part 3 in theaters, and I was just like, "Are you shitting me? This is really Part 3?" Like, oh wow, you guys really, this was not good at all.
Dominion is Zach's favorite Jurassic Park movie.
Is it really?
If you want to listen to my full thoughts on that, go listen to that episode.
Oh no, give us some of your thoughts now. No.
Oh, it's so shitty, dude. Like I hate to bash on the Jurassic Park movies, but that one is unforgivably bad.
Well, see, that's
how you know it's bad when Zach curses. Zach never curses, and for him to curse, that's how you can tell it's bad.
Well, speaking of Jurassic World, we have another Jurassic World coming out this year, so we'll see where
I'll go see it.
That's where let's see where it ranks on everybody's must-see list of the year.
Well, I'll just say there's no way it could be worse than Dominion. That's all I'll say about it. Until I watch it, that's all I'll say.
It's got ScarJo in it, though.
Well, that is a positive. At least I'll have ScarJo in it.
Zach, what about you? Do you have anything you want to recommend to listeners out there?
Yeah. I don't know why it just took me forever to find like a new TV show to watch or binge or whatever. I've started on Everybody Loves Raymond. I'm like 15 episodes in, and I see why people love it. It's kind of a classic from the 90s. And then on Apple, I got with my new MacBook, I got like 3 months free of Apple TV Plus. I watched the new film The Gorge with Miles Teller and Anya Taylor-Joy. Really fun movie. It does have a lot of if you watch it, there's a lot of not references, but just like tributes to like Stranger Things and Silent Hill and those type of movies. Palmer, which is that Justin Timberlake movie that came out, I think 2021. That would have made my best of the year, honestly. I really, really enjoyed that. And then Captain America Brave New World, and then the new season of Reacher is on Amazon Prime. I'm like 2 episodes in. The third one, I still have to watch the third one. So
the guy that plays Reacher is a lot of fans' dream casting for Batman for the new Brave and the Bold that DC's going to be doing.
Yeah, that's how he's supposed to look like in the books. That's pretty much what he looks like.
So he played Raphael. He played Raphael in the 2 Michael Bay movies.
Damn it! Nice. I'm still going through my James Bond watch from for the last few weeks. I don't know where I was at last topic of the conversation, but recently I went through. I finally made it to the Roger Moore movies. I'm on Live and Let Die, The Man with the Golden Gun, The Spy Who Loved Me, Moonraker.
Moonraker's pretty decent. I remember that.
For Your Eyes Only. The only one that I enjoyed thoroughly was Live and Let Die and The Spy Who Loved Me. Those are the only 2 movies that I enjoyed from those Roger Moore movies. So, Live and Let Die and The Spy Who Loved Me.
So far, you're not having good luck with this James Bond anthology on here. You're really not.
Just jump back to Daniel Craig and you'll be good.
I think you'll like the Pierce Brosnan era. I really.
I'm hoping so because I've never seen the Pierce Brosnan movies. And honestly, if I can be serious for a minute, the movies that have had I'm not going to say best looking, but the movies that have had the better Bond girls as far as character driven and story arc, I've enjoyed those movies a lot more. Because they've just thrown them in there to be the bombshell and there's no acting experiences whatsoever.
Right.
Yeah, those have just kind of been cut and dry.
Around the Brosnan era, though, is when they started really incorporated who the Bond girl was going to be, and they got good actresses for them then.
And then the Sean Connery was just as dry as the martini he was drinking. Let's just put it there. We'll just leave it there. And then I'm going through the Superman's. Superman 2 was decently okay. Superman 3 so far with Richard Pryor, I'm actually thoroughly enjoying. I don't know why. Captain America: Brave New World, Rebel Without a Cause, and Gandhi was on the watch list today. First time watching Gandhi, 4 hours. I'm just kidding myself. It's 3 hours and 11 minutes. Honestly, I could say that if I could use this word for an 80s movie, it was kind of an epic. If this movie got re-released and was in theaters, I'd probably go check it out because it was just beautifully shot and it was a beautiful upgrade on Blu-ray. Gandhi was pretty good. I'm not going to say it was jaw-dropping, but for its time, I bet it looked really good on the big screen. Ben Kingsley deserved that Oscar win for that year. But it was one of those movies that I don't think I'd ever rewatch again at home. I would definitely rewatch in a theater setting. So, and then Rebel Without a Cause, we're going to talk about movies like that next week. So I'm going to leave my thoughts on Rebel Without a Cause. So yeah, if you guys did not catch last week's episode, it was fun. It was a 2-hour extravaganza of us just talking about our favorite movies from 2024. Highly recommend that conversation. Go back. The link to that podcast is anywhere that you can find us on social media. Facebook.com/the Cine-Men Movie Podcast. The Instagram is also Cine-Men Movie Podcast. The X is Cine-Men405. So, and the email, CINEMEN 921. That's Cine-Men921 @gmail.com. So go through, hang out, and click on some links. You can also watch us on Facebook Live, and you can watch us on Imisawa Productions YouTube channel. So we might as well go ahead and get right into the top 5. We ended last week's show with the top 5. This week, we are talking our top 5 movies of 2025 that we are most looking forward to. All right. Like I said, today we're talking about our top 5 movies that we are looking forward to for the 2025 season. It's going to be pretty huge, honestly. I'm excited. I'm looking here at my calendar, though, and only Jay has kind of heard some rumblings. Zach has kind of heard some rumblings. We got some pretty fun conversation pieces coming up for the year, too. Like, not just movies that are getting ready to hit physical media, but just conversations in general. We have the Oscar talk next week. I was discussing with Jay and Zach. I think we're going to have a conversation piece about physical media. So
I'm definitely down for the physical media talk. We all need to have that one.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a fun year for everybody. So I don't have any honorable mentions. Does anybody else have any honorable mentions?
No, I was just gonna sit there and say that I don't really have a number 4 and 5 for a top 5, but I just have a few that I'd be like, I'd go see them in theaters. Nothing like majorly, it's just one of those.
So you have a top 3.
Basically, yes.
Okay. Zach, you have any honorable mentions?
Yeah, I got 3. F1, the Brad Pitt racing movie, looks pretty good. Jurassic World Rebirth, I'm gonna hesitantly be optimistic about that one.
See, that was one that I was kind of like, I'll see it, but
And then my official honorable mention, I don't know why, the more I see this movie, the more I'm kind of more excited about it, is Novocaine, about the guy who can't feel pain and he goes on like John Wick on people. That looks kind of fun. So
I've been liking a lot of Jack Quaid stuff. I forgot to mention this in the recent watches, but I watched Companion. I'm not going to say much right here, but after we all went and seen Captain America, I watched Companion and The Last Showgirl. I forgot to mention those two, but Jack Quaid has been on a roll here lately, and he was real good in Companion as well.
April 7th, by the way, we will review and discuss Companion.
That's a conversation I cannot wait on.
So I don't have any honorable mentions, but I'm going to rapid fire through mine. If you guys want to stop and be like, hey, why, when, what, where, by all means. Disney and Hulu learned their lesson. So at number 5 is going to be Predator Badlands.
So how was Prey compared to
Prey was really good. To me, it was an hour and 30 minutes. You're in, you're out. It was a breath of fresh air. They went back to physically using prosthetics and special effects. It wasn't a lot of CGI. It was out in the middle of nowhere. It was Predator landing in on a bunch of pretty much a bunch of Native Americans.
Yeah.
And the best thing they did was, the best thing that happened was they did put it on a Hulu, so it was accessible to everybody. But I feel like it should have got a theater release. So they learned their lesson. It is Prey is one of my favorite movies. It's, to me, if I had to rank any of the Predator movies, it would be 1, Prey, and 2. Those are my top 3.
Okay.
Number 4, I Know What You Did Last Summer, the requel, Jennifer Love Hewitt, Freddie Prinze Jr. Number 3, Superman. Number 2, Mission Impossible. And number 1, 28 Years Later. Those are my 5 movies that I'm looking forward to this year.
Okay.
So, Zach?
So I just did my list. I did all the way through the end of summer because I know Avatar's coming out. I know Wicked Part 2 is coming out. But I know like by the time we get to that point, there's always like 5 other movies that pop up that no one's heard of. And so I just like to go at least towards the end of summer and see what we got. Number 5 is Thunderbolts. The more I see that, the more I'm kind of anxiously kind of get excited about it. Number 4, Superman. Number 3, 28 Years Later. I think if that's done properly, I think that could be one hell of a sequel. I think I'm glad Danny Boyle and Alex Garland are coming back to direct it and write it. So at least you have the original talent from 28 Days Later. Number 2, Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. If this is Tom Cruise's last Mission Impossible, let's see what all is going to happen. And then my number 1 anticipated for at least the first half of 2025 is Sinners. We saw the trailer with Michael B. Jordan. I think it's going to be something cool. So,
Blade.
Yeah, I thought they gave away too much in that trailer when we've seen it, but I guess that's how they got to get you in because it's a novel, original concept. Hopefully.
Jay, what about you?
Like I said, I have basically a top 3, but here's like a couple 3 that I might check out in theaters, just because of what they are. I might check out Jurassic World Rebirth. It's got Scarlett Johansson in it. The new Final Destination movie, and it's called Bloodlines or something like that.
Yep.
We have I'm not a big fan of it, but a lot of people out there are anxiously waiting for Five Nights at Freddy's 2.
no.
Oh yeah, they're waiting big time. And like you already mentioned Avatar, Johnny mentioned Predator Badlands, and I Know What You Did Last Summer. But I'm actually looking forward to these couple, seeing how they redo the Running Man with Glenn Powell. We're switching from Arnold to Glenn Powell. Let's see how different of a movie series, because the original Running Man was really really cool. And I just want to. I'm waiting to see Carl Urban as Johnny Cage in Mortal Kombat 2. I'm waiting to see what they bring to the table for this one. And then my number 3 is Mission Impossible: Final Reckoning. I too can't wait to finish off the Tom Cruise Mission Impossible series. 2 is Fantastic Four. I think this one's going to capture the vibe of the comics, and it's going to do really well. And my number 1 is Superman. I'm always interested in a good Superman or Batman story, and I'm waiting to anxiously see what James Gunn has planned for us in this new Superman reboot. So, and seeing the trailer the other night in IMAX, and it was an actual IMAX print of the trailer. It looked awesome as hell. I do have to see this one in theaters.
We might as well just stop the camera. No, I'm just messing with you. Yeah, I agree. I think the theater setting for everything has to be there, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah.
So I think it'll be a fun topic of conversation for the next few weeks. We got some good movies coming up. I'll go through the lineup at the end of the episode. But let's dig into what everybody's wanting to hear our thoughts about. Probably the most mixed reviewed movie in the early 2025 season. So that was our top 5 that we're looking forward to the year. If you guys want to play along, send us in some emails or some social media comments. If you're watching here now live on YouTube or Facebook, send us in a list. What are you looking forward to? 2025. Today we're talking about Captain America: Brave New World. It released February 14th, 2025, with a box office. Zach's in and out. What up, Zach?
Hey, sorry.
Get your shit together, Zach.
Technical difficulties, folks.
Brave New World, with a budget of $180 million. So far, it's grossed a little over $290 million at the box office. IMDb has this at a 6.1. Rotten Tomatoes is at 49. The Metascore is at 42, and the Letterboxd is a 2.6 out of 5.
I'm gonna go ahead and say right out the gate, it's nowhere near that bad. It is nowhere near that bad. Trust me. We are going to discuss it, and it's those scores that he just rattled off. Nothing. Go see it. I'm going to say it right now. Just go see it. It's not that bad.
So, if you guys have not seen it, it is still in theaters. We're at 23 minutes into the episode. Pause it if you don't want to hear spoilers. If you do want to hear spoilers, listen to us. Go see the movie for yourself. Or pause it, go see it, and then finish the conversation with us. Zach, go first. Final thoughts in one short word.
It was fine. My classic, it was fine. Like I said, I agree with Jay. I don't think this is deserving of all the hate and just awful reviews that this movie is getting. It has problems, like every Marvel movie's had in a while. But I mean, it's entertaining. I had fun with it, and I think at this point with the Marvel movie, that's what you want. So, what do you guys think?
Jay?
Oh, I've already given my thoughts on it. It's nowhere near as bad as what those numbers say. I don't know what the critics were expecting. I know that the audience score has been higher. I know it sets around a B or in the low 80s right now. I think
80,
the last time
80% right now.
Okay, so see, 80% on Rotten Tomatoes audience score compared to the 49% of critics. So the audience is actually finding it, to be pretty decent. The $280 million box office haul so far is not that bad for it either, but it's not great either, considering how Marvel movies usually blast off. And this is supposed to be one of the biggest tentpole movies of the year, and it's underperforming in my opinion. So, and just some of the problems that we've had with it and what we thought about it is the reason why it's underperforming, I think.
You know who I'm going to go blame this on?
Who's that?
I am blaming the score on the MCU fans.
Yeah, I was
I
going to
think
mention that score.
I think, and if I know I'm going back on again the question I originally asked, but I thought it was good. I'm gonna just leave it at that, short and sweet, and then we'll discuss it in long form right now. But I'm starting this conversation off for this episode with I blame a lot of the hate and a lot of the bad score rating on MCU fans. Um, and the reason, if I can explain myself, is you know, Marvel movies are slammed with gotta go see it Thursday night, gotta go see it opening weekend. This is a Marvel movie. I feel like Marvel fans are treating their movies since Spider-Man, uh,
No Way Home.
No Way Home. They're not treating these movies as must see anymore. Now, a lot of people want to blame that on Disney, on Marvel, on the cast, on COVID. COVID, COVID did its job, right? But how long can we continue to blame COVID on people not going to see their favorite movies opening weekend? Thoughts?
I think to certain extent, you can blame COVID on that, but at this point, we're too far out. We're 5 years past COVID, and I don't think we can't use that as an excuse anymore. I think this whole new phase, starting with Quantumania, it started off a little bumpy. Obviously, Quantumania is pretty much non-existent at this point. But Guardians of the Galaxy 3, the Marvels, which, I know a lot of people really, really hated that movie. But again, I think I was talking to someone at my job about this, and I asked them, do you think we're at the point of people don't care about Marvel anymore? Or do you think that just because it doesn't have Robert Downey Jr., it doesn't have Chris Evans, it doesn't have Scarlett Johansson, it doesn't have Chris Hemsworth?
See, I was going to bring that up. I was going to bring that point up on where do we as where they built everybody up to that these characters are who they recognize them as, and they're all being transformed to these new characters. Because this year alone we have Ironheart, and that's supposed to replace Iron Man, and that's why they brought Robert Downey Jr. back, because they realized those actors are what matter to a lot of people. And a lot of people just don't really care anymore because those actors aren't there anymore. It has nothing to do with certain attributes to the character, like we're getting to discuss Captain America. There's a lot of feedback out there that it's because people don't like it because he's a black Captain America. It has nothing to do with that. It's just it happens to do with you're changing the character that a lot of people fell in love with, and they didn't fall in love with the same way that they did with that other character that's being substituted.
Yeah, but we talked about in the theater, Johnny. After the movie was over, hot controversial topic. He didn't like Chris Evans as Captain America. He thought he was very wooden and not very up to par with Robert Downey Jr.
I think Chris Evans was too stiff, but I think also the reason they wrote him to be like that because he was a man's man. He was Captain America. He's supposed to be. Don't say that word. You know what I mean? But I also think
He's
what hurt
Boy Scout, bro. You got it.
Yeah, ultimate Boy Scout. But still, he was like, I didn't find him. The only Captain America movie I found entertaining and really, really good was Civil War and Winter Soldier. And I thought they were okay. Let's talk about Brave New World, though. I think um, I think this Captain America and the characters. Don't get me wrong. Let's go through the cast because usually I do that, and I didn't do it today. I'm so excited. Starring Anthony Mackie, Harrison Ford, Danny Ramirez, Sue Haas, Carl Lumbly, Tim Blake Nelson, directed by Julius Ona, and Sam Wilson, the new Captain America, finds himself in the middle of an international incident and must discover the motive behind this global plan. I think right off the hand, I think this Captain America Sam was overexposed with the Disney Plus show. the very first time you put him in the new suit and he is Captain America, I don't think Cap, Cap, I'm getting ahead of myself. That show was good, but I think you save a lot of this for the big screen.
Well, see, that's one thing I mentioned. There's two things that I mentioned right off to you when after we got through watching it. One was that in order to be prepared for this movie, you'd think watching Falcon and the Winter Soldier would be what you'd go watch before you go in. You could watch it going in and still be at the same place you are if you didn't watch it, in my opinion. But the one thing that I told Johnny is that you really, really need to watch Incredible Hulk before watching this, because this is almost like a spiritual successor to the Incredible Hulk without Bruce Banner. The rest of the movie deals with all the characters from the Incredible Hulk.
But the Incredible Hulk is so bad as a movie. I don't think you even need to watch that to understand what's going on.
Hey, I seen that movie at the drive and I had fun with it.
Because of how well they build you up to it in the movie.
Well, I mean, ironically enough, the Incredible Hulk has a better score than this movie does. So I don't know what that means, but I mean, I told someone at work, like, look, do you need to watch Falcon and the Winter Soldier?
No.
Probably not, but I mean, it's good just to get the background of like post Endgame where these two characters are from.
No. As a movie fan in general, I went into this movie and I was super. And usually that's my motive. You guys know me, Zach. You know me. You probably even did the same thing, Zach. I'm like, let's get hype. Let's watch 3 Captain America movies. Let's watch The Winter Soldier. I didn't do that for this one, and I sat back with an open mind, and I thoroughly enjoyed this action movie.
Well, I mean,
I don't need my peas and carrots with my potatoes and steak because of how invested I've been in these characters for the last 10 years.
And how many films has Anthony Mackie appeared in as Falcon and now as Captain America? Are we at like 7 or 8 because he was in Ant-Man? And he's done this character for 10 years, right? 10 plus years.
Yeah, he's done this character for a long time, and I mean, I just don't understand the hatred or the negative score. And of course, it's mostly the critics. So what we say usually. We don't care what the critics say on this episode. But guys, I'm looking at the numbers. Let me get my handy dandy notebook out again. $290 million opening. Where was everybody? It was Valentine's weekend. What's one of the things you guys go do? People go see movies. And like even we talked about this movie 2 weeks later, and it's still sitting at 290 million. Are the Marvel fans like upset because hey, it'll be on Disney Plus in less than 90 days? Is that what they're gonna? I mean, is that really the big?
It's really after watching it. Don't get me wrong; it's a decent movie. It's one that is it one to rush out and see in theaters? Absolutely not, especially with Marvel's release schedule here lately, where within, like you just said, 90 days it'll be on Disney Plus. There's no need to rush out to see it. The last Disney Marvel movie that was released was Deadpool Wolverine. That was hype beyond belief. That was the number 2 movie last year with a little over $1.3 billion. There's no way Captain America is going to reach those numbers just because there's not enough intrigue. And I'm not saying it's because of the Captain America character. His movie, if you just put it down to what Captain America alone, without like Robert Downey Jr. added to your movie and stuff like that, what that movie brought in, the second Captain America didn't bring in that much either. Neither did the first. But
I think this one is a good movie too. I'm just, if anything, I'm really calling out, Marvel fans. Like, this is surely people. I don't know what it was, man, but I honestly feel like this movie is superb. And I'll throw it up there. I'm going to say I thought Captain America was superb compared to the last 4 Marvel movies. I love the way this movie started out. I love the score. The storyline was just cut and dry too. It's so simple. It's not, they're not sure. It's not difficult to follow at all. So I don't know. Maybe I'm just disagreeing with a lot of the hype out there, disagreeing with why people hate it. I mean,
Well,
Jay, you even mentioned it. If I had to nitpick on some reasons, Zach, you could probably throw some in there too. Let's talk about some of the things we didn't like about it. The only thing I didn't like about it was some of the CGI shots.
Oh, there was a couple times where me and Johnny, we weren't sitting far apart from each other during the second half of the movie, and there was a couple shots that we both just looked at each other like, really? We're like, wow, that was bad. And then there's a couple, there's like some wooden acting throughout the movie, but and some of it's from Harrison Ford himself. I thought sometimes when he got angry, I thought it was kind of hokey, but other than that, I bought Harrison Ford as president as Thunderbolt Ross. I bought Anthony Mackie as the new Captain America. I wasn't completely, sold on the sidekick for Captain America. You could tell what he was there for, comic relief, and I just didn't find him funny. But it was cool he was there. Every cat needs its falcon, I guess.
Pay for your thoughts, Zach.
There was a couple points in the score that annoyed me. The actual musical score, they have this like noise that goes through the movie that it floats from one side of the screen to the other, and I was like, that is so damn distracting and annoying. Stop it. I'm sorry.
No, but that's good because so far your bring ups as far as like negativity go are small things that make a movie decent, not terrible. You know what I
Well,
mean?
I'm not saying this movie is terrible by any stretch. It's actually pretty good, but there are a couple points during the movie where you really do got to stretch your suspension of disbelief on some of the situation Sam Wilson's put in as Captain America, because just sitting there knowing what Steve Rogers was, if he was putting that, and this is just me reading into it probably more than what it should be read into. I am supplementing Steve Rogers sometimes in those situations where Sam Wilson's in it. How would Steve, do it differently? Just because they are Captain America, which one would do it differently? But I think that's my own internal struggle.
Yeah, because throughout the whole movie, Sam himself battles with I should have took the serum, and he
Oh,
says that he says that throughout the entire movie. Zach, what about you? You got what kind of nitpicks do you have about it as far as like negativity go?
My biggest thing was just some of the performances were just real wooden. I thought Danny Ramirez, who played I don't even know what his name is, the new Falcon, I guess you would say. Um, I thought some of the performance that he did was kind of cringy, honestly, throughout. Which I know that's what that character is, but I just didn't really buy it. I thought Harrison Ford was probably one of the best parts in the movie. I kind of agree with you guys. The whole Celestial Island action sequence, I was like, man, you could really tell that was some green screen right there. Um, I leaned over when we got to the Celestial Island part. I leaned over to Johnny. I was like, "Oh God damn it! Is Eternal still in this universe?" And I was just like, "Man." But
But now that with the Celestial being there and we're all going to war over bits and pieces of it, they've introduced adamantium to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So we're going to be, because that's what I've heard of the plot of the Thunderbolts is them trying to recover some adamantium.
Explain to the listeners what that is if they're not understanding what it is.
That is the fictional metal introduced to the MCU now that was from the comics that Wolverine's bone structure was created out of raw adamantium. I can't say the damn word too many times. It's one of those words that tongue ties me. But everybody out there should know what adamantium is. Yeah, you know what I'm saying out there, because we've all watched Wolverine and X-Men about 1,000 times out there. But yeah, they've now introduced that metal to the MCU, and what I've understood is that's what the Thunderbolts is supposed to take over. It's supposed to be on a mission to get some of it.
Interesting.
So, but I thought the Red Hulk's digital presentation, whenever we do get the Red Hulk, I thought the bullets bouncing off of him and them leaving those black circles on his skin and how his skin looked, I thought the VFX for the Red Hulk was on point.
Red Hulk looked pretty good. I thought he looked really good. Um, Now the original from the original Incredible Hulk movie,
William
Thaddeus,
Hurt.
he passed away.
Yeah.
Yes.
Were you guys surprised they went the Harrison Ford route?
Not really. Wasn't it William Hurt that played Thunderbolt Ross through all the other stuff?
Yeah, he was in some Captain America movies too, right?
And a couple of the Avengers. Oh,
You know who I would have thought played really well into this role? That would have been Sam Elliott.
Mm. Yeah, that would have been cool.
Yeah, but maybe
we,
his
we
Hulk.
did get
He
some of
did.
that.
He did. He was Hulk. He was in the Ang Lee Hulk as
Yeah.
Ross.
Okay, that's right. Huh, that'd have been pretty fun if they brought him back then.
I'd really be going back in time to do that.
But we got a fairly decent villain and a sub villain in this movie. We got the leader, which, like I said, they bring back the introduced villain from the Incredible Hulk. You get to see his origin story in the Incredible Hulk, and get to see his storyline is from the Incredible Hulk, the leader, and he's the guy with the weirdest deformed head that looks, his cranium's all melted and just weird looking. And then what's the Carlo Espinito? What's his character's name? Sidewinder or something like that.
Sidewinder.
He's the sub villain of the movie. So
That's who Seth Rollins was supposed to play, right?
I don't think so. I think
because in an interview, Seth Rollins said that they found that Geneseo, how do you say his name?
Don't ask me. I mispronounce it every time.
Giancarlo Esposito.
There you go.
In an interview, they said that once they found him and he became available, they scrapped all of Seth Rollins' stuff.
Oh, that would be heartbreaking.
Yeah,
breaking Hollywood.
Yeah.
And then
so I guess Seth Rollins was the backup plan for this character for Sidewinder, and then the better actor became available, and they went with him instead of Seth Rollins. So interesting.
Some people would be. I actually feel sorry for Seth Rollins.
And maybe that's why this movie lost so much, because they had half of it shot with a different person playing Sidewinder.
I don't know about that, but I sitting there watching some of the production. I have heard about some of it being rushed and having to be reshot. So it does make me wonder what the cut was like, because I've heard that this movie had bad test ratings. But after seeing the finished product, we all three can unanimously decide that it's not a bad movie. Is it one you need to run out and go see in theaters automatically? No, it's, in my opinion, it's honestly not one of them either.
I would disagree with you. If I'm an MCU fan, I feel like I would want to hurry up and go see. I want to go see this Captain America on the biggest screen possible, just because of the unique opening. This was one of the first MCU movies that didn't have the classic opening. I think some of the CGI was kind of terrible, but like even then, some of the CGI shots on the biggest screen possible was pretty cool.
Oh no, I thought we all seen it in IMAX, and there were certain shots where I was like, wow, that looks really incredible, and then there are other shots where I was like, holy hell, this looks like a muddy mess. But those muddy messes are few far between comparatively to the better CGI shots, because there's a lot of flight in this movie, and a lot of the flight looks really well done.
Because especially being an MCU fan, you only got 3 chances to see these movies in theaters this year. You got this one, Thunderbolts, and Fantastic Four, right?
Yep.
And then does anybody know what the next MCU movie is after Fantastic Four in July?
Doomsday.
Yeah.
A year when Thunderbolts comes out, a year from that is Avengers Doomsday.
So by December we should start getting trailers and hype. Yeah, we should have something by December.
So
we're gearing up for the big new.
Which makes Fantastic Four then, even though it's not on my list, it makes Fantastic Four now pretty hyped, because there should be some kind of let's just do a little yes or no. Robert Downey Jr. at the end of Doomsday.
I don't think it'll be that quick. I think they'll have maybe like a snippet of not him, but just like his mask or something, and it'll just lead into Avengers Doomsday.
I think the other opposite. We all know he's playing him. They're just gonna fucking let him go. They're just gonna let him go. Like seriously, they are just gonna just let him go. I think they're paying him enough money that yeah, they're just gonna let homeboy go. I think.
Phase 6 is going to comprise of the Fantastic Four. First Steps is the first film in that section, I guess you would call it. Avengers Doomsday, which is May 1st of 2026. The untitled fourth Spider-Man movie with Tom Holland, July 31st. And then we got to wait less than a year after that is Avengers Secret Wars, May 7th of 27. So... And then TV-wise, there's Eyes of Wakanda, Wonder Man, Vision Quest, and supposedly Daredevil, which I'm very excited for, starts next week. Daredevil Season 2 is supposed to come out sometime during that time.
So there's only 4 films in Phase 6?
Right now, yeah.
And then they're going to start up with probably the Mutant Saga afterwards.
That makes sense. Yeah, if we end Secret Wars with Avengers Secret Wars... That's probably going to be the end of the multiverse saga, and then you're probably right, Jay. Mutant Saga is probably going to be next.
So what's the phase that we're in now? 5?
We're in 5.
What is that called?
It's still part of the multiverse phase.
So what films consist of Phase 5?
Phase 5 consists of... hold on, I just had it. Phase 5 is going to be... Dagnabbit. Oh, here it is right here. Okay, Phase 5 includes Quantumania, Guardians of the Galaxy 3, The Marvels, Deadpool and Wolverine, Captain America Brave New World, and Thunderbolts. Thunderbolts is the last one, so...
Oh, okay.
That's why Fantastic Four is called First Steps, because it's the first steps in the new phase.
Yep.
So going on, I think... What's some of the big stuff that just saved Brave New World for you guys? We did the podcast, so that's why we wanted to go see it. But what's some other reasons that you're like, hey, go check out this movie?
I'll be honest, the biggest thing for me is that I'm glad they saved Red Hulk for one big finale fight. It wasn't they teased it, but they didn't show him until like when he needed to. And so like I appreciated that, and I appreciated that it wasn't just like, oh, he's just going to get rewarded out for no reason. No, there's actually kind of a cool reason of why he turns into the Red Hulk. It's kind of like one of essentially Ross takes these pills essentially, and right off the bat, like that's like one of the first scenes in the movie. I'm just like, oh, I wonder if this is because like to prevent him to become Red Hulk, but it's essentially a spoiler if you haven't seen the movie. It's because Ross is dying. He has like some kind of heart defect, and these pills are keeping him alive. But on the other side, it's giving him like huge amounts of gamma radiation.
So it's turned into one big Red Hulk monster. But see,
Yep.
I enjoyed the CGI on that because there was a lot of close-ups of Harrison Ford's Red Hulk in this movie, and they filled that screen up, and they're in IMAX, filmed in IMAX, so they're very huge, and they were very good looking. They were beautiful images. I'll give them that. And then,
so you could tell which pill he took.
Yes.
It was a white one actually, but hey.
Oh.
Well, and even like the structural, like Harrison Ford's structural look on his face, they did a good job of like transferring that what it would look like as a Red Hulk, like muscled up and everything.
I have to say, I appreciate one of the big negatives for me, and I guess it's cool that they're like, oh, let's tie in the 2008 Hulk movie. One of the big turnoffs for me, though, was...
Broccoli Man?
Yes. Yes, I did not enjoy that character overall. I thought this was going to be more of Harrison Ford and his presidential run and him being the ultimate bad guy, which he probably still could be. Because it sounds like he's creating like a Secret Wars maybe, kind of. But
well, in a way, that's what the leader's plan is, to make... Thunderbolt Ross expose everything about himself to the general public because he is president.
We got some comments here. Zach, you want to read them for me?
Yeah. From Acres of Movies. I don't like Harrison. I don't like Harrison Ford. I've never been a fan of him. I'm good on him. No more movies with him in it would be fine for me. You don't like the Jones? Should Colossus get his own movie, then each X person gets their own movie, then make X-Men in 2032 or so? Well, if the asteroid doesn't kill us, I mean, yeah, that could be a possibility.
I don't think each X-Men should get their own movie. That's just my take on it.
Should DC cast Steve Martin as Brainiac?
For all we know, Brainiac's in the new Superman.
That's true.
Because
I don't know.
I don't know what the hell that purple globe-looking thing is out the window.
Hello and thanks. Love, Stacy. My thing about it is like I know we're going towards the X-Men, but like the fact that we bluntly had to be like, oh, we've discovered antimaterium. It's just like, guys, can we just like kind of keep it a secret just a little bit? Maybe another film, like save it for Thunderbolts or something, instead of just be like, hey, this is where we're going next.
But the entire eternal conflict for the U.S. and for the Japanese is because of this adamantium. Who gets the rights to control it? And that's what because throughout the entire movie we're trying to get a treaty signed, and this is Ross's attempt to get that treaty signed by everybody, and the leader is trying to make things look differently because he's playing the Japanese against the U.S. to where they strike each other, and him being able to brainwash everybody around the thing. So he's able to pull off a lot. I thought it was a lot better villain motive than some.
I know I shouldn't bring any of this like world applications into this, but like I couldn't help the whole, and I know this is not I don't even want to go down this road because I know it's just going to be like, what are you talking about? That's not what their intention was. But I like the beginning when they're doing the Ross and they're like, we're going to catch you up from Incredible Hulk. This is what he's been doing this whole time. Even though we've seen him in Infinity War and Black Widow and stuff like that. I don't know. I felt like there was like political like Trump messaging in that. Not like in your face about it, but like we can like bring this into we're gonna like compare this to real world applications. And it's just kind of like, oh, like someone at work kind of brought that up. I was just like, well, not really, but the more I thought about it, I was like, yeah, I mean,
I didn't see it that way because most people, when they see a lot of blue, they identify Democrat and everything like that. And that's what I associated with it, that he's a Democratic person, just because of the blue everywhere. So I didn't think that it's any magnet group or anything like that, or any Trump messaging. I didn't get that. One of the rumors of before I turn it back over to you guys is for the X-Men is that they're considering Denzel Washington for the role of Magneto. I don't know if anybody's read that.
I've heard that he's supposed to be like Ryan Coogler was going to make a part for him in Black Panther 3, but I haven't heard the Magneto part.
That's what I've heard. I read the rumor that they're looking at Magneto. So
that was the game changing.
I could see it. That'd be honestly really good.
Yeah, I don't know. What else you got?
Oh, she's still talking, huh?
Do you want Shaman in any of these movies or projects?
Who is she talking about? Oh, is that a character or something?
Oh my God, we just went right up. Oh man, here we go.
Yeah. Anyone want to take that question?
I think Denzel Washington as Magneto would be fantastic. I don't
He
know.
could be the shaman character in Black Panther. I don't know who the shaman is. I wasn't really a Black Panther reader. I'm a big
Yeah,
Marvel reader.
not much a big Marvel reader, but
But do I know
I
they're following the comic books? Absolutely.
Well, and that's what I think a lot of people that aren't the comic book readers, that Falcon does become Winter Soldier. That happens in the comic books. That was like a
He
major
becomes
thing that
Captain
happened.
America.
Yeah.
We did
So
get
it's,
our little cameo by the Winter Soldier in the movie. He's now a senator now. We do learn that it's now Senator Bucky Barnes.
which that leads right into Thunderbolts.
Exactly, and he's out in the field. We have a senator in the field. Uh-oh.
Yep.
Or does it happen before he becomes senator? I do remember that they had a big old box set up as a display. It looks like a box of Wheaties, but it's the Thunderbolts. And on the back it had a maze puzzle.
Yeah, I thought that was cool advertisement.
Jason Momoa is not doing anything for the DCU anymore. Maybe he could play Shaman.
He's not playing Lobo anymore?
Oh, maybe.
I thought he was still doing that.
Yeah, I thought he was playing Lobo and Supergirl.
And to answer your question, Jay, if you include all the movies and Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Anthony Mackie has played Sam Wilson 8 times. So
That's a pretty big role, and I mean, I just thought maybe opening weekend would have brought in a little bit more Marvel money for those MCU fans that maybe would have went opening weekend or even opening month, because I mean, this is the last episode of the month for us, and we are, hanging out on the last episode of February. So I thought that movie would have made a little bit more money.
I kind of sit there and look at it like this: that they made the Falcon and the Winter Soldier in some ways a Disney Plus show. They already had that, and some of the stuff they cover in the show they cover again in the movie. It still hasn't been resolved yet, but there's a lot of people's perception is that Sam Wilson's Captain America is not a big screen Captain America. They've kind of already cycled him through that. He's a Disney Plus character, possibly.
I don't see, that's where, and we've talked about this way before, back when. I feel like they should have just held off on the TV shows for just a little bit longer. For just a little bit longer. Like, or if you do make three or four shows, I don't know. I was never a fan of making those big screen Marvel characters into TV show side pieces, because I felt like it devalued what they were on the big screen.
That's what I just said essentially about their Disney Plus. That goes back to John Boyega saying, "You ain't Disney Plus with me."
Yeah, like I just feel like those characters were diminished once they made them into a Disney Plus show.
Don't get me wrong; some of those shows are actually pretty good. I actually enjoyed Hawkeye quite a bit.
I'm not saying they're bad shows; they're decent, they're good shows, but I just feel like it's demeaning the character.
It makes it to where, well, the last time you guys presented them to me, they were a Disney Plus show. Why would I want to go throw down? It cost me almost $22 for an IMAX ticket. Why would I want to do that when I just seen his last adventure on Disney Plus?
Exactly.
yeah.
So, but I thought this movie was fun throughout. I mean, Sam Wilson as Captain America, that character, he knocks it out of the park for me. He's in some people's eyes, that's not their Captain America. That's not their main star. I'm gonna go see Steve Rogers. I want him. That's my favorite Avenger of all time. Mostly, that's what a lot of people say. But Anthony Mackie, give the dude his flowers, because through all the scrutiny, through all the TV show talk, I think he delivered as Captain America, and I think he delivered a pretty fun performance for this movie. So,
I completely agree with that. That's some alright action sequences. I'll give it that.
Thanos.
Oh yeah, Thanos for sure.
So, you guys have a favorite scene from Captain, My Captain?
I didn't mind a lot of the Red Hulk stuff. Like I said, I thought it looked really good on the big screen. Like I said, we seen it in IMAX, and it held up the IMAX scrutiny with the way that the bullets ricocheted off the skin. There's like the atmosphere, the vibe. There was a couple muddy scenes, CGI shots during that scene, but for the most part, it was a fun little action scene. I still have my suspension of disbelief for that scene, but hey, it was a good scene nonetheless.
My favorite scene, I will probably go off and say where he brings the young guy, Mr. Torres, when he brings him to meet Isaiah. First off, a lot of the scenes where Sam and Isaiah are interacting with each other before before and after the assassination attempt, I thought those were fantastic scenes. It's like those two have worked together before, quite a bit, which I don't know if they have,
Hey,
but I really appreciated the chemistry between those two characters. Anytime Esposito, Mr. Sidewinder, was on the screen, I thought he knocked it out of the park. He's a fantastic actor. God rest his soul. And honestly, when the final showdown, Red Hulk and Captain America, I thought it was a pretty good fight sequence. The CGI does stand out a lot, but it's not terrible. I've seen a lot worse. Yeah, that was a good way to end the movie. And then you got the little cameo by Miss Liv Tyler. So,
we haven't talked about that yet.
yeah. Zach, what about you?
Oh hell. Probably the big one is the Red Hulk versus Captain America. I think that was pretty much why people bought tickets to go see that. The ambush sequence with Sidewinder and Sam, where he where he blows up the car, and I thought that was kind of a cool action sequence. It kind of was not to the level of how well the choreography fight sequences, but it was kind of a throwback to the Winter Soldier hand-to-hand combat scene in Winter Soldier with Steve and Bucky. I kind of just thinking about it, I thought that was kind of a cool little throwback. Yeah, and then like the whole which we didn't even talk about this, but Ruth, who was essentially which I don't know about you guys, I didn't buy it for a second, where she said that she was part of the Black Widow program. I was like,
the little tiny like alien creature in the movie that had cast as a former Black Widow.
Yeah, I didn't believe that for a second. I'm sorry.
Girl is 80 pounds soaking wet. That's one of my. Sorry, you had to bring that up. That's one of my suspension of disbelief. Where I'm like, sure. What? No.
In the car when we got out of the movie, we were in the car. And I was just like, Florence Pugh is taller than her, and I believe that, but not this one.
Oh no, she just looked really odd to me.
That just shows you the level of comic book movie seriousness in this like just topic of conversation, because you guys can't believe that she's an assassin, but we can all believe about a 3-foot tree that floats in space and can grow and says I am Groot. I just think that's funny.
That's unbelievable.
A raccoon trying to steal people's metal arms. I mean, I believe that more than this.
I could totally buy that
happening. Star rating for one of the most talked about MCU movies of the year so far, the only MCU movie that we've gotten so far. I dug it. I thought it was cool. There's negatives with it, yes. There's also some positives with it. But I think it's a pretty good entry into the Captain America movie. It's a pretty good way to introduce Sam Wilson as Captain America if you have not seen the TV shows. I'm going to give it a 3. I had fun with it. And it didn't feel like it was overly long anyway. It felt like it was like an hour, 45 minutes, like it was probably supposed to be. So I had fun. 3 stars. Jay?
I'll also give it 3 stars. I like to say, I've said throughout the review, there was a lot more good to be said about this movie than bad. And the bad that we do get through it is pretty quick and passable a lot of times. So there's not a lot to really nitpick about on that front. but there's a lot of good in this movie. Just go in with an open mind. Try not to be all like Steve Rogers' mind. No, just go with, just chill, relax. It's just a comic book movie. It's not all that serious. It's okay to be to hate it, but just relax a little bit. Enjoy yourself.
There you go.
What these are supposed to be out there for, relaxing and enjoy yourself.
Yeah, and for people to complain about a 3, I've had some people complain about my ratings lately. 3s are good. Like, I'm going to recommend anything 3 and up, right? You guys agree? 3 is a good rating.
I can live with the 3 being accessible to everyone.
Yeah, even a very well explained 2.5, but 3 and up, I recommend. Zach, what about you?
Ironically, 3 for 3. I'm going to give it a 3 as well. I agree with you guys. Just go in, and I get we've had good Captain America movies. I really enjoy that first Captain America. Winter Soldier and Civil War are arguably, a lot of people find those the best of the Marvel films. But as the title says, we're in a brave new world and we're going somewhere different, and just go see it for the ride. I do want to talk about this for a second. I think it's interesting that this movie had a 68% drop off in its second weekend. The damn the Monkey, the new Neon movie, which is I've heard is the second best highest grossing film in their catalog after Long Legs. It almost beat it. I mean, if the Monkey had won the weekend, I think we be having a different conversation. But I still think people are interested in this Captain America, that it still was number 1 in its second weekend. So,
yeah.
So
that's interesting. But that was a fun conversation. Go out. Pretty much what we're all saying. Don't believe the negativity hype. Don't get on the negative train. Go check this movie out in theaters. Before maybe it has a bad week 3 or 4 and they pull it early. I doubt it, but go check it out.
I mean, I was looking at the calendar. It really doesn't have any competition. Mickey 17 is probably the next big movie, but that comes out March 7th. So we'll have like this weekend and the next weekend. But
I can see Captain America being on Disney Plus for Easter weekend.
Yeah, I agree.
April 20th, somewhere around there. But go check it out. It's a fun movie to go see in the theater. Take your mom, your dad, your granny. Go check it out. Zach, what are we doing next week?
Next weekend is our first in a series called Conversation Piece, and we're talking about the Oscars. Sunday is the Oscars, and we're going to have like a little special afterwards talking about where the Oscars stand in the cultural zeitgeist. Do we love them? Do we hate them? Is it relevant? We're going to go back and kind of look at some of the best picture winners, see who should have won, who should have lost. And I'm sure there's going to be some
I'm going to get hot.
Pieces. It's going to be hot, as you would say.
I'm going to just be lucky we're not in the same place. We'd all get into a fist fight.
I'm going to get hot. I'm going to get upset. I'm going to have a rant for sure.
We all know we love Johnny's rants, so tune in for that.
Monday, March the 3rd. Zach, what about Monday, March the 10th?
March the 10th, we're doing a film that no one has heard of except for me, probably.
Chris Columbus directed it. So
we're talking about I Love You, Beth Cooper, starring Hayden Panettiere, a 2009 rom-com. So we've been kind of on a rom-com sweep, so we're going to keep it going.
Monday, March the 17th, St. Patty's Day.
Ooh. McConaughey.
We're talking Sahara, another probably underrated Matt McConaughey movie. We'll discuss.
Never seen it.
You've never seen Sahara?
Nope, never seen it.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
And then what are we talking about after that?
March 24th.
We're talking about the remake of The Wolfman, Blumhouse, Julia Gardner, Christopher Abbott. I saw it in theaters, so I'll be interested to see what you guys think about it.
And then we end March on Monday, March 31st.
The Wrestler, which is a lot of people think Mickey Rourke should have won Best Actor for that role. We'll discuss it. And
discuss that during Oscar talk, huh?
I think Marissa Tomei won Best Supporting Actress. So I'd have to look.
I know that she was absolutely gorgeous in that movie.
But yeah, we're talking about The Wrestler. Mickey Rourke, Marissa Tomei, Evan Rachel Wood. I think around that time was WWE. So it's why let's get into the spirit of wrestling.
Yeah. So March looks to be pretty entertaining, pretty packed. February's done and over with, guys. Are you excited for the month of March?
I am very much so. I'm also looking forward to April as well because I heard you discuss some of the topics that we might discuss, and it's like, yes, I am down and I am on board with those topics. That's
April,
just to show you that we have some great shows planned for you there.
yeah, April kicks off with Companion. So,
oh, I can't wait. That's one film I can't wait to talk with y'all.
So that's it. Guys, you have anything else you want to add to Captain America: Brave New World?
Go see it.
Sums it up perfectly.
Go check it out. Let us know what you think. Join us next Monday for an all-new episode as we talk Oscars, we talk movies, awards. It's going to be a fun conversation piece. So just come in. No movie watching. I can't wait to talk movies again with you guys next week. Much love. Have a great week, and we'll see you next week for a new episode of the Cine-Men Movie Podcast. Have a good week, guys.
Later.
Bye.